right there is a scene from Washington, D.C. in the Columbia Heights neighborhood. People in D.C. are pissed. People in America are pissed. People in Ukraine are pissed at Donald Trump. People in Europe and across the world are pissed at this fascist Trump regime, which is weakness masquerading as strength and raw, unadulterated wannabe fascism as Donald Trump sucks up to Vladimir Putin and then just behaves like a 2-bit troll. You have Donald Trump making posts like this. Could somebody please inform Jerome Too Late Powell that he's hurting the housing industry very badly? People can't get a mortgage because of him. There is no inflation, and every sign is pointing to a major rate cut. Too late is a disaster. So Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, is Donald Trump's new version of Dr. Fauci. It's who Donald Trump blames for his own failures. Donald, you said you were going to make everything affordable on day one. You said you would bring peace to Ukraine on day one. You said you would bring peace to Gaza on day one. You are a liar. You are a lifelong fraud and criminal. You are a felon. You are a sexual abuser, and you are behaving as such. So now you just want to throw Jerome Powell under the bus for your own failures. Then, of course, Donald Trump wants to go full fascist and say that he's going to destroy all of our museums in Washington, D.C. and across the country. Donald Trump posts, the museums throughout Washington, but all over the country, are essentially the last remaining segment of woke. The Smithsonian is out of control, where everything discussed is how horrible our country is, how bad slavery was, and how unaccomplished the downtrodden have been. Nothing about success, nothing about brightness, nothing about the future. Can we pause there for a second, Donald? Slavery was bad. Are you saying slavery was not bad? I don't even know what your next line means. How unaccomplished the downtrodden have been. What the hell are you even talking about? Museums, exhibits generally don't predict the future. They're not forward-looking. They're museums. They're usually about things that have happened predating the museum. That's usually the way they work. And I've been to those Smithsonian museums and museums across our country. And by and large, they tell about the successes of our country, but they're also honest about the failures of our country and problems that we've had in the country. But isn't it interesting that when, let's say, people want to get rid of Confederate statues because they celebrate the Confederacy, slave owners, people who wanted to destroy our country, then the Donald Trump and the MAGAs are like, you're destroying our history, you're destroying our past. No, we're not. We're just saying don't glorify and celebrate people who glorify slavery and want to destroy our country with golden or bronze statues. We can talk about it, what happened in the Confederacy. But then when it comes to telling the truth about slavery and about some of the dark things that happened in our past, that's when the Trump regime is like, why would you say slavery is bad? I mean, that's how horrific these people are. I just wanted to call out that important contradiction there. Then Trump goes on to say, we are not going to allow this to happen. And I have instructed my attorneys to go through the museums and to start the exact same process that has been done with colleges and universities where tremendous progress has been made. This country cannot be woke because woke is broke. We have the hottest, and he puts that in caps, country in the world. And we want people to talk about it, including our museums, raw, unadulterated fascism, authoritarianism here, folks. And again, weakness masquerading as strength. Only someone who's so weak is like, let's destroy our museums. Just like the colleges and universities that I've threatened and I've extorted. Just like the law firms I've threatened and extorted. And by the way, that's why shame on you, Columbia University. Shame on you, all of the law firms that bent a knee. And shame on everybody who's not stood up to this crooked fascist regime regime in this moment. We, the people, demand fearless leadership right now that stands up to this utter fascism, because let's talk about the real data, folks. Let's talk about the real facts, folks. As people are getting disappeared off our streets, sent to concentration camps across our country, as the regime, the Trump regime, is building currently 1,000 concentration camps across the country. Donald, guess what? Inflation is surging. People are struggling to afford groceries, they're struggling to afford basic necessities at this point. So don't go and say inflation is done, inflation is gone. You are a liar and a lifelong fraud, and you're trying to defraud the people yet again. So why you fire all the people who put out job data and economic data. Let's take a look at some of the remaining data we're able to see. Electricity prices in the United States are up 38%. 38% in the most recent 5 years after being stable for the 5 years prior. U.S. bankruptcies just surged past 2020 pandemic levels. We went from the Wall Street Journal and The Economist and others calling America the envy of the world when it comes to the economy, the Goldilocks economy under President Biden, as inflation was going down to 2% and the Fed was able to cut rates because inflation was getting under control. Now bankruptcies are surging past 2020 pandemic levels. But what's Donald Trump talking about? Stupid and ugly windmills are killing New Jersey. Energy prices up 28% this year, and not enough electricity to take care of the state. Stop the windmills. Stop. You're blaming it on windmills and solar energy and saying that's the cause? Windmills, solar energy, alternative sources of energy are needed to help deal with the energy crisis. It's your attack on green energy because you think that green energy is woke and people who believe in climate change is woke. Now, what you are doing is so utterly reckless and setting the United States back so long. Here we have another headline from Bloomberg. Trump widens metal tariffs to target baby gear and motorcycles. Great work, Donald. Donald Trump stunned the logistic industry by widening steel and aluminum tariffs now to include more than 400 consumer items that contain the metals, such as motorcycles and tableware. So already, while Americans are struggling, that's your move? Meanwhile, options traders see what's going on. They see the bankruptcies. They see Meta, Zuckerberg downsizing their AI division. We're seeing this AI bubble. We're seeing an overinflated stock market, a scam market that looks like a Trump meme coin. So option traders are bracing for a big tech sell-off with disaster puts. That's how they're hedging. India's Prime Minister Modi is moving away from the United States after decades of the United States cultivating a relationship with the world's largest democracy, India. Donald Trump just threw that all away. There's criticisms of India for sure. But India is the world's largest democracy. America worked hard, big market, one of the world's largest economies. And Donald Trump just pushed India towards China. Modi's now visiting Xi Jinping, which he hadn't done in like 7 years. They're going to develop and strengthen their relationship together. No wonder Americans look at our economy. Only 22% of Americans now say America's economy is doing well. The numbers don't lie, although Trump wants the numbers to lie. You take a look at the average monthly job growth. Normally a 35,000 average monthly job growth from May through June would be a 4-alarm labor market fire. That's what's taking place here. We're calling it out what it is on the MeidasTouch network, but corporate news and Trump regime, they want to pretend it's all good. Then one day we're just going to wake up and you know what's going to happen. It's a big surprise shock. Where did these numbers come from? How is there a crash? Because we see it. It's happening before our very eyes right now. But folks, the rich will get richer. Donald Trump's buddies like MAGA Republican Senator Rick Scott just disclosed that they were doing about $26 million in stock trades last year that they just disclosed now. Yep, they just legislate on the issues. $26 million in stock trades. By the way, Rick Scott, the MAGA Republican senator from Florida, yeah, he was just involved in the biggest Medicaid and Medicare fraud criminal scandal in American history. Yeah, they paid a $1.7 billion, close to $2 billion settlement in a criminal case and a civil case where Rick Scott pled the fifth. 75, 100 times, invoked his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. He walked out of that company that committed Medicaid, Medicare fraud with a huge golden parachute worth hundreds of millions of dollars. That's how he got rich and then used his money to become a MAGA politician to screw all of us even more. And talking about screwing all of us even more, yesterday Donald Trump called Mark Levin his favorite radio host and Fox host, and Donald Trump kept on saying Netanyahu is a war hero. I guess I am a war hero also, like Netanyahu is. First off, how disrespectful to the military community, saying that Trump's calling himself a military hero, a war hero. Dude, you got 5 deferments. You are the opposite of a war hero. And then praising right now Netanyahu. I don't think that's the right decision to do right now after the atrocities being committed in Gaza. But here's what Donald Trump said. Let's just play it one more time. Here it is.
Worked with your friend Bibi. He's a good man. He's in there fighting. He's fighting. You know, they're trying to put him in jail on top of everything else. How about that? He's nuts. He's a war hero because we work together. He's a war hero. I guess I am too. Yep. Nobody cares, but I am too. I mean, I sent those planes.
But now Donald Trump and Caroline Leavitt, they're out there. Just look at the shit-eating grin on Caroline Leavitt, Donald Trump's propagandist. She's like, Donald Trump wants to get to heaven. He wants to get to heaven. Heaven, everybody. He's like, that's what they were talking about yesterday. Trump saying he wants to get to heaven. Here, play this clip.
I know the president said on Fox News this morning that he's partially seeking peace in order to get to heaven. Was he joking, or is there spiritual motivation behind his peace deals here?
I think the president was serious. I think the president wants to get to heaven, as I hope we all do in this room as well.
Okay, you want to look at reality, face the facts. Take a look right here. This is the family murdered by Russians yesterday in Kharkiv. Grandmother, both parents, 15-year-old boy, a 1.5-year-old baby girl. Look at this family, Donald. You're responsible for that, Donald. That's on you right now. You want to talk about going to heaven? Take a look right there at that family that you've enabled Putin to engage in this behavior, Donald. The blood is on your hands right now across the globe for atrocities being committed right now. And let's just take a look at Harriet Hagman, the MAGA Republican congresswoman from Wyoming, getting booed at her town hall yesterday. Play this clip.
My question to you was, how do you feel personally of stripping Americans of those foundational tools of mail-in ballots? Mail-in ballots.
Mail-in ballots are not foundational tools.
No. You just said we have to protect it, but
You're fully capable of exercising your right to vote without a mail-in ballot. You are absolutely fully capable of exercising your right to vote without a ballot.
But folks, Howard Lutnick just wants to remind you that you're not going to see any written trade deals. Why would they do written trade deals? Here, play this clip.
You mentioned you're working on the documents. When do you think the market can get its hands on written documentation on the deals with Japan, UK, Vietnam, Korea? Is that how long ago? How far away is that?
Well, these are kind of weeks away for the Japan and Korea model, but the other models are set. I mean, you already have Vietnam has agreed to open its market. These countries have agreed to open their market. They bring down their tariffs. It's not that you're not going to find a big, long, 250-page trading agreement. It's very simple. Bring down your tariffs to zero. Open the market to American exporters so that we can finally sell our agriculture overseas, finally sell our seafood overseas, finally sell our beef overseas. I mean, our producers have Stockholm Syndrome.
Oh, and one other data point I want to give you as well. U.S. soybean farmers are near a trade and financial precipice. They can no longer survive this prolonged trade war with China that Donald Trump has started unless they get bailed out soon. All the soybean farmers are about to go bankrupt. All of them pretty much. But last week, Joni Ernst said that Iowa farmers could handle a little bit of pain. Yeah, of course, people can handle pain, is what the MAGA Republican senators are saying here. Play the clip.
Okay, and then, of course, tariffs. We talked in May. Farmers were along for the ride, but they said it would have to be a small ride, a short ride. And we're still sitting here now in August, and things, we see a little bit of delays. We've seen some get done, but yesterday the president sent out a tweet, sent the soybean market flying. Today it's dropping right back off. I mean, farmers are really concerned about this, especially when it comes to China. Where are we at, and what's some message you're hearing from the president?
And this is where we really are seeing a little bit of pain, of course, from the farmers. And they are frustrated with the tariff situation. They've expressed that to me. But then they immediately turn around and they say, we understand why the president is doing this. Yeah. So they are feeling pain. But what they want to see is a reset when it comes to trade, and to make sure that we as the United States are getting the trade situation right.
Well, there you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.